Hi, my name is Wendy Zachary, and I am ethnically Dutch Indonesian. And when I say that, both of my parents are Dutch Indonesian, so I have the unique experience of being biracial from biracial parents. I work as a physician. I'm an internist and a geriatrician at California Pacific Medical Center. I work particularly as a hospitalist, so I do only acute care. And I think my interest in caregiving actually does have its roots in a couple cancer diagnoses. My very first experience with cancer was when I was a young child growing up in South Carolina. My piano teacher was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had a double mastectomy. And there's a very tight-knit group in Greenville, South Carolina, which is where my family is from and my family lives now. Everyone sort of rallies around each other when someone's ill, but there was something different about my piano teacher's diagnosis. People weren't really talking about the cancer. They weren't really talking about the surgery. They were just saying, she's sick and we need to go over and bring a casserole. And it was right about that time that a famous actress, I think her name was Gillian Anderson, came out and she had a double mastectomy, and it was just sort of becoming acceptable to start talking about cancer and breast cancer particularly. And very shortly after that, my own mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I was about 10 years old at the time. And I don't remember taking much of a caregiver role because I was so young. But I do remember thinking, oh my gosh, are people still going to help us? This isn't really something that we talk about. And even in my own family, we didn't really discuss the diagnosis so much, the breast cancer so much as, well, mom's sick and we need to support her. And it was actually my piano teacher who was probably the biggest support for my mom, not surprisingly, at the time. So that's when I decided to go into caregiving, and particularly wanted to take care of people who had cancer and cancer diagnoses. And when I first started on my journey, I went to a high school for science and math, and then went on to Duke University and majored in chemistry. And at that time I was still thinking I really wanted to do a lot of research. I really wanted to find the cure for cancer. And but then it became very obvious to me that that really wasn't where I needed to be. Where I needed to be was in a more caregiving role. I needed to be more in a person-to-person role. One thing that really rang through my mind a lot was a comment my mother once made to me, that she thought that she might have gotten cancer because she was a nurse and worked with a lot of cancer patients. And obviously breast cancer isn't something that's contagious. It's not a virus. It's not a bacteria. And I'm not really sure how much my mom believes that that's true. But the fact that she vocalized it and said it, there was some seed in there somewhere, and no one ever told her that that was incorrect. And I think it was because she never told anyone besides me that she felt that way. So, as a caregiver, both in my personal life and as a physician, I think it's really important to just get the conversation started. To just allow people to say that they're sick, or to ask questions about why they're sick, and to really express to people that it's not shameful. There's nothing shameful about it. It's not your fault. These things, I hate to say it, but sometimes people just have bad luck, bad genes, bad luck. And these things happen to you. It's not something that you did. I think the Asian Pacific Islander community particularly is pretty bad about that. And I've found that to be true in my own experience as a hospitalist. I think a lot of it is because of a language and cultural barrier. A lot of our API patients don't know which questions to ask. Just like in my mom's case, she didn't know to ask someone could this have happened because I was a nurse? Could I have caught this from someone? And, you know, when we ask these open-ended questions of how you feel as physicians, we should actually be asking different questions too. So again, it's a conversation. We need to learn from our patients need to learn from us. And I really think that that's probably the biggest challenge. I'd probably say my message of hope is to not be ashamed, to not be scared to express yourself, not be scared to ask questions, and to keep the conversation going.